Okay, this is the territory-wide system assessment, or what we call the TSA. TSA is territory-wide system assessment for 2016, and we're looking at reading and the poetry part. So we're going to jump to page 6, which is part 2, poetry. You are doing some research on teen problems. The word research is to find out something, okay? You are doing some research on teen problems. Your English teacher has given you a poem to help you get started. Read the poem and answer the questions. This poem is called Pimple Problem. Pimple Problem. If you don't know what is a pimple, you can Google images, and here are lots of lovely pimples, which I'm sure you students are familiar with. Okay, pimples. Pimple Problem. I had a little problem. It gave me quite a scare. I looked into a mirror and saw a pimple there. That pimple was enormous. Now, the word enormous means very, very big, okay? I know in Hong Kong maybe you would say big and large, but the word enormous is very big. Great word to use, enormous. That pimple was enormous and growing on my nose, both bigger than a button, here are the buttons, and redder than a rose, and here is a rose. I knew my friends would notice. That means they would see it, okay? Did you notice means did you see? So I knew my friends would see. I knew my friends would notice. I thought that they would stare. And the word stare, let's Google that one. Staring is when you're looking at someone in a very strange way. Like if you look at this lady here, she's staring at you, or this guy here, staring. Okay, what is that, right? I thought that they would stare. I figured, that means I thought, I figured, that means I thought they would laugh at me to see that pimple there. So that's when I decided I would give them a surprise. I grabbed the pen. Grab means to take, okay? I took a pen and drew on it two tiny little eyes. I drew a nose, a mouth, two ears, a mustache. This is a mustache here. The hair on the face is a mustache, and a beard. So a beard is this lower part, okay? A mustache and a beard to make my pimple obvious. The word obvious is something that's very easy to see, okay? Let me show you some signs. Well, in Chinese, it's this one, because obvious is quite hard to explain, okay? But let me show you some obvious signs. Caution. Cross only when cars stop. Well, that's very obvious, right? You do not cross the road when cars are moving, so you cross when cars stop. So this sign is very obvious, okay? The word here, obviously. Let's see other ones here. Caution. Hot water is very hot. Well, of course, the word hot and hot. Of course, water is going to be very hot. Let's look at the other ones. If you crash, you might die, obviously. Let's have a look if there's any. There's one here. Do not breathe under the water. Is it possible to breathe underwater? I don't think so. So this is obviously. Right, let's go back to the poem. To make my pimple obvious and wonderful and weird. Weird means very strange. My drawing was a winner and a hit with every friend. Now painting on our pimples is the hottest fashion trend. This word trend, let's have a look. So trend, if you look in your graph, this is a downward trend, a pattern, okay? A pattern of going down, so that's a bad trend really. Or looking at this one here, we have an upward trend. The numbers are going up, so that's a trend. If you look in Hong Kong, there is this shop called Trendyland, okay? Trendyland are things that are very popular. More and more people will buy it. It is very trendy. So all these toys are popular toys. And here, trendy fashion, be trendy here, you see? Because these clothes are very popular, they're very stylish. So trendy and trend, things that are usually very popular, but you can have a negative trend as well. I don't know what happened to a negative trend picture, but yeah, a trend is a pattern. So let's go back to the poem. That is that part. Let's look at the questions and let's see the answers. In the first stanza is verse 1, right? Scare rhymes with what? A, problem, B, looked, C, pimple, or D, there. What does scare rhyme with? Correct, the answer is D, there. Scare and there. Question 2. The pimple was growing on what? Was it growing on A, a rose, B, a button, C, a nose, or D, was it growing on the mirror? Or I think the answer here is very obvious, but let's just check. That pimple was enormous, very big, and growing on my nose. So yes, the answer is C, nose. It's obvious, right? The student drew on the pimple because A, his friends were going to make fun of him. They were going to look at him. C, he wanted to give them something else to look at. Or D, all of the above. Well, why did he draw on the pimple? A, his friends were going to make fun of him. He was worried about that. They were going to look at him anyway because they were going to stare. Remember, where's the word stare? I thought that they would stare. He wanted to give them something else to look at, or all of the above. I would say the answer is all of the above. Okay? 4. In stanza 4, the student drew what on the pimple? A, did he draw a pen, draw a surprise, small eyes, or nothing? Let's go to stanza 4 to check. I grabbed the pen and drew on it 2 tiny little eyes. So he drew the eyes. So small eyes, 4C. The student drew what on his pimple? 1 beard, 3 eyes, 2 noses, or no mouth. Well, go back to here. Excuse me about that. Sorry. I drew a nose, a mouth, 2 ears, a moustache, and a beard. So go back to the question. Hold on. There we go. A, 1 beard. Question 6. The student also drew some other things on the pimple, so it would what? A, look like his face. B, go away. C, stand out. Or D, look smaller. Well, drew lots of things, okay? It didn't say anything about look like his face, and the drawing will not go away. So if anything, the student really wanted to make it stand out, okay? Because drawing on the pimple was very obvious to make my pimple obvious and wonderful and weird. So answer there is stand out. 7. In the last stanza, the student says his drawing was a winner and a hit, which means what? A, was it a stupid thing to do? B, not popular with friends? C, won an award for best picture? Or D, became a trend everyone followed? What's your answer for number 7? It was a winner and a hit, and the answer here, D. It became a trend that everyone followed. If you're not sure, there's a word trend there. It's the hottest fashion trend. And the last one, the poem is called Pimple Problem. It could also be called what? A, I hate pimples. B, pictures on pimples. C, growing roses. Or D, moustache wins pimple contest. What do you think is the correct answer? I don't think it's A. It's worried about pimples. Doesn't say hate them. It's not C, growing roses. Does it win a pimple contest? No. So I would say it's B, pictures on pimples. Okay, so that is the poem. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.